As we know, Houston is a great center for the arts. Many people may feel left out because of what others perceive as a disability. The ReelAbilities Houston Film and Arts Festival celebrates the talents of people who may have various challenges, but their talent still shines through. This month-long celebration uses the power of storytelling to amplify the voices and talents of people with disabilities, bringing our people together through art, film, and shared experiences. Joining us with a preview are Sandy Helfman-Wolf, Festival Chair, Becca Golub, Celebration Company Artist, and Abby Markowitz. She is a coordinator with the Alexander Institute for Inclusion. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, you all are nice and coordinated. Did you call each other this morning? Because this is a nice little coordinated art piece sitting on the sofa right here.
Yes, we did.
All right, Sandy, let me start with you. Community service sits in your heart. The Alexander Jewish Family Board, you've been on that since 2013. Now the president?
Past president.
Past president, okay. And then tell us what this organization does. Although the word Jewish is in there, it's based on Jewish principles, which means helping everybody.
So we are a United Way agency, and we do help everyone. We help seniors. We help people with disabilities. We help financial aid. We help employment. We kind of help the whole gamut of people, what we need.
Yeah.
If there's a flood, they come to us for financial aid, to help rebuild, therapy. It's everything. It's like a little gift from heaven.
Which is why ReelAbilities is something that fits right into what you do. It's right in your wheelhouse.
Right, yes. So it's a film and arts festival. It runs pretty much the whole month of February. It's free movies. We have an art show where people with disabilities show off their art and they sell it. They get a little paycheck. This Sunday it's at Laura Rathy's Gallery in River Oaks Center. So that's exciting at 1 o'clock. And there's movies at River Oaks Theater. There is reality, people with disabilities that speak. Ali Stroker, you know, who won the Tony. She's going to be there. And Jim Abbott, who had one hand and he pitched a no-hitter for the New York Yankees. He's going to speak. So it's just a whole gamut of people being the best they can be, and they inspire us.
And people, when you like, it's interesting because when you say like those, he had one hand, and this person had this person had this. It's you never really saw it when you saw their talent shine through, right?
Exactly.
And that just became just a part of who they were on the other side.
Exactly.
You and I are old enough to remember. I remember growing up in TV for a minute there. They would reflect people with Ironside. There was a series called Ironside. He was in a wheelchair, right?
Yes.
Now Raymond Burr didn't really use a wheelchair, but they thought, here's the deal: we're going to make this man, this brilliant man who's in a wheelchair. You're not going to see the wheelchair after a while, right? And so it normalized just it's just somebody who's different. Lou Ferrigno always talks about being deaf and having to learn how to speak, and he still had, you could tell that there was an accent there from being deaf. Peter Dinklage, Game of Thrones, dwarfism. So the whole point is it's important to show it in culture, to say this is a part of all of us, not just some of us, right?
And it makes us feel better about ourselves because we know we can do it.
Yeah.
If people that do have disabilities can do it, look what everyone can do.
Yeah.
And it makes them proud of themselves. Look at her when she was throwing that ball.
Becca, that's right. So Becca, we were going to have you on talking to you about art, but clearly there's a little basketball action going on right there too.
Yes. Yes.
What is it about, and I have spoken with you before and seen your art before, what is it about art that makes you happy?
It makes me happy and proud.
Oh. What's your favorite kind of art to do?
I like to paint.
You say it's fun and it's relaxing?
Yes.
And you love the colors?
Yes.
What do you like about ReelAbilities?
Say that again?
About ReelAbilities and taking part in this art festival.
I want everybody to be themselves and just do what you can and just practice. If you can't do it, ask for help. I am now a senior associate of Celebration Company, and it's between Becca, Artie, and Neville.
And you just you're like loving life and celebrating your life.
Yeah, so I get extra pay because I'm a senior associate now.
Oh, she gets
She got a raise.
She got a raise and a promotion.
So her art will be there at Laura Rathy's Gallery this Sunday, and we can all see it and buy it and bring it to our homes.
And then actually know who the artist is. So many times we'll buy a piece of art and have no idea
the name, the picture and the name is attached to the painting.
That's
we know exactly where it came from.
Where it is, and then if they buy it, they put like a sticker so you know that they buy the art.
Yeah. All right, Abby, you are a neurodivergent person, but didn't realize it for a while. You know, you went through your early childhood years with things that you couldn't necessarily explain, but now you know.
Yes. Part of my work here with ReelAbilities inspired me to pursue that diagnosis of autism, and I'm very proud to be a person on the spectrum representing those with different disabilities. And I'm very fortunate to work with people like Becca, who are so prolific. Her art is fantastic. She's one of our best salespeople.
Yeah.
As evidenced by
Last
our
year it
promotion.
sold.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, just letting you
Yeah,
know.
she's
real
fantastic. So it's been such an inspiration to be able to see all of these people, both with disabilities and without, achieve their dreams, and the amount of support that the Houston community has given us and that we constantly see. We are honored to be one of the biggest festivals, and we couldn't do that without the Houston community
And the
support.
importance of that is like we used to hide these things and not talk about it. It's like why, right? So
Exactly.
how did people see you as a child growing up? Just so if there's a parent listening who has some concerns, this is what you get on the other end when you know, right?
Yeah.
You
So
get this
I
wonderful,
was
beautiful woman.
With a lot of girls on the autism spectrum, it's much harder to catch because the ways that you see it are often geared towards how it presents in males. So I was very quiet. I got good grades, and I didn't have a lot of close friendships, but I did have a few. And I did have special interests here and there, so things that I hyper-focused on, talked about a lot. I still talk about my dog specifically a lot. That's one of my hyper-focuses. But one of the biggest things that I think is if your child expresses discomfort, that's something that I did quite frequently, that I would be uncomfortable in large situations, that I would get overwhelmed by loud sounds, that clothes would be really itchy and uncomfortable and often send me off into a little bit of a spiral. So really listening to those around you.
And having that diagnosis explains so much. You know, my son is your dyslexic ADHD, and as he gets older, those things those edges kind of disappear. And he learns how to manage things. Right. But as a kid, it was just like, we're like, what is going on? But once you knew, and you said, okay, now give me some protocols to work with.
Exactly, it gives you more tools in your toolbox, and that's one of the other things that ReelAbilities does, is really helps you learn from others around you. So even if you might not have the same disability, you might see someone who uses a coping tool that would apply well to you in your work. And one of the best things that I think that people can get from this is to really learn from others in the community around them.
Yeah,
And,
all right.
And I can tell you about the coping skills.
Oh, tell me about that.
Put me on the air.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the coping skills that I use is I talk to people. If they're upset, they walk away. You can talk to them. You can just be yourself and just walk away, have a moment, and then go back and do what you're working. Sometimes
just basically have some grace and be kind.
And just if they're upset, just go to them, talk to them, find out what's wrong, and then they'll be okay. And if they need a staff, I'll just get the staff if they really need the staff.
I know why you got your promotion. That's what you said. That's some good advice right there.
She could be president.
Let me just wrap up with, there are so many things at this ReelAbilities Festival. There's just so much to go to. And how can people get involved next year, besides just going as a spectator, but to actually support in another way?
So they can go online to Alexander Jewish Family Service and look for the ReelAbilities app, or anywhere, comment anywhere asking for questions, and we would love to get more people involved because it's an amazing festival. Come out, see what it's like. Most of it is free for the community, and it'll make you feel good after you leave.
Everything, real films, real art exhibit, real music, real workplace, even looking at, having people in the workplace as well. All right, the ReelAbilities Houston Film and Arts Festival features events through January 18th through February 26th. For the full schedule, to register or to donate, visit ReelAbilitiesHouston.org.